Good morning. I have 3 words for you today. Free Liam Ramos. This little boy who was abducted in his own driveway when his father brought him home from school. Liam had gotten out of the car. His father saw that ICE or Border Patrol was there. He ran. The agents, federal agents, grabbed Liam, abducted him. I think they took him to a McDonald's and then brought him back and tried to get him to open the door of the family home so they could also take these people away. And the family didn't. They found the father. They brought Liam and his father out of Minneapolis, flew them down to Texas, where they are now in essentially a prison, a concentration camp. It's called Dilley, and it is extremely unsafe, including for the adults there, let alone Liam. And I want to know why Chuck Schumer is not saying we will not even talk about 1 penny more for ICE. We want to take back the money they've already been appropriated. All of it until Noam's gone, until Miller's gone, until Trump's policy has ended. And by the way, at the top of the list should be free Liam Ramos and his father. Now, my voice may sound hard, and that is because it is there. My voice and my strength and my anger coming forward is actually here to protect my heart. And I think you know how you feel about a 5-year-old being in a prison, a place that is, as I said, unacceptable for adults. And what we are hearing now, there is reporting from the superintendent of the public school where Liam was in kindergarten. And she spoke to the Washington Post, Zena Stebnik. And here's what she said. Whew. Unfortunately, Liam's health is not doing great right now. She added, he's been ill. I'm told he has a fever. So I'm very, very concerned about his well-being. His mother, Liam's mother, was also interviewed. She told television news that Liam is getting sick. The public radio, I'm sorry. Minneapolis Public Radio, or Minnesota, I'm sorry. It is, yes, it is the public radio station in Minnesota. And she told them that Liam is getting sick. I'm quoting her. Liam is getting sick because the food they receive is not of good quality. He has stomach pain. He's vomiting. He has a fever, and he no longer wants to eat. This is unacceptable. Why is Liam Ramos and his father still in custody? The father came here lawfully seeking asylum. He is in the process, in the application process to be granted asylum. This is outrageous. It's pure evil. It is a moral and legal imperative that we cry out for Liam and his father, because they don't have the voices to advocate on their behalf. Free Liam Ramos. Now, Joaquin Castro was one of the members of Congress, because he's in Texas, who went to visit him. And I need to show you this photo. Liam is in his father's arms, and it's not clear whether he is sleeping or just entirely listless. And it is very upsetting. And here you see him just in his father's arms. And like I said, I want to get out of this shot so you can see it better. There he is in his father's arms, either sound asleep or completely listless. I look at this child, and I want to tell you, his coloring is not good. I trust what his mother is saying and what the superintendent is relaying to us. She probably got this information either from the mother or the lawyer. And so I say to you, this boy, this 5-year-old, all children at the Dilley facility, all children in ICE custody must be removed. And if they're there with the parents need to go home. If this were a situation, and he needs to be brought to his home without the threat, he needs to be brought to his home by public safety, not goons. And I agree with Jamie Raskin. ICE and Border Patrol, they are not law enforcement. They are violating the Constitution. They are murdering people on their streets. They are not following the law. They're using excessive force. They're not law enforcement. They are outside of the law. They should not be funded. They are a goon squad. Don't believe that anything has changed just because Bovino is gone. Now, I think there is some hope here. And what I want to show to you is that there are people who are protesting outside that facility in Texas. I'm going to show you some images there. And yes, of course, they are facing the wrath just for using their voices of the government. But they care about Liam Ramos. I think this is the clip I just want to show you.
We have bubbles and that talk doesn't mean shit when you're in hell. Gabriel, remember, that talk won't mean shit when you're in hell. We could be your family. This could be your kids.
So why are people in these cages? Why are we allowing this? It's unacceptable. And right now, you may not be aware of this, but right now, Tom Homan he has been giving a press conference this morning. And he is not changing Donald Trump and Stephen Miller's policy. And I personally don't trust him, as you should not. This is the man who took $50,000 in cash in a shopping bag from Cava, which is a grocery store I have not been to, but they have nice shopping bags. I've seen this one before. And he took $50,000 in cash from undercover agents at a time when he believed he might have a position in the future in the Trump administration. And he will not answer any questions about that. The man does not have a Senate confirmed position. He's just called the border czar. Unacceptable. And let me just say what he had to say this morning. I want to share this with you right now. I think I can put this up on stage. I'm so sorry, guys. I thought that I have this. Okay, here we go. And here is Tom Homan just so you know, nothing again has changed.
Lana Zaxby at Snooze. Everybody I've spoken with agrees that if somebody has a violent criminal history and is a fugitive, they don't want them as their neighbor. But when you're talking about a targeted operation, and are you talking about targeting people whose crime is coming to this country, or is it a more specific definition now?
All operations will be targeted, but the prioritization are going to be criminal aliens, public safety threats, and national security threats. I've met with Marcos and his staff. We got to allow them. We got to allow them to keep us busy. So that would be our focus.
But that is enough that's what, there is not going to be a focus on people who have no other crimes except for their status.
If you're in the country illegally, you're never off the table.
If you're in the country, what he says, illegally, you're never off the table. Well, who adjudicates whether someone is here illegally? They're deciding that. They think Liam Ramos's father is here illegally, but he's not. This is a huge problem. Moreover, Homan is in the process still, my friends, of blaming protesters for these murders. And he is blaming people for speaking, for protesting for these murders. This is a huge problem. And I want to share this with you. Here we go.
I begged for the last 2 months on TV for the rhetoric to stop. I said in March, if the rhetoric didn't stop, there's going to be bloodshed. And there has been. I wish I wasn't right.
So in other words, the murders will continue until our complaining about the murderer stops? Yeah, I don't think so. This is an entirely lawless organization. As you know, they believe they can use force to kick down doors, even without a judicial warrant. They are now housing children, including Liam Ramos and his father, for no valid legal reason in facilities where people are ill and in some cases being also murdered in these facilities. I'm sorry, the problem isn't the rhetoric. It's not rhetoric. It's truthful speech that we are entitled to use. Petitioning the government for redress, that is like the top of our free speech. And the redress we want is shut it down. They are still acting like they are kings. And so what I want to share with you then is something that may cheer you up, which is this. Ezra Klein, as you may have seen, was on MS Now last night. I guess he's making the rounds because they are planning, when the weather is a little better and when we can be super well organized, a No Kings March, No Kings 3.0. They keep getting bigger and bigger. The date is March 28th, which is basically 2 months. It's a Saturday. Here is the, it's an announcement. Mark your calendars, March 28th, no thrones, no crowns, no kings. We're planning, I'm not part of this group, but I feel like I am. All of us have 2 months to organize, to create a massive plan to flood the streets. Now, in the meanwhile, I am also hearing that there is a planned, and I'm not sure who's fully doing this, but there is a planned shutdown, essentially like a walkout or a general strike kind of this Friday. And I don't know if there's one planned in your area, but I know that Deb has some links that she can include in the chat about these. And the idea is to not go to work, to not shop, and to protest. And I'm glad that there are people planning that. I don't know, when it's kind of, here we go. I'm going to put this out. Here's the link. It's national shutdown tomorrow. And the information here, I think I can, and then electronic patient. So it says, yeah, the national shutdown is not Ezra, right? Ezra 11 of Indivisible is working on the March 28th it's focused on the March 28th No King's March. Of course, let me go to the national shutdown link. And here we go. I'm going to pull this up. This is for tomorrow. And I want to, let me pull this up for you right now. Okay, here we go. And I think you can see this Friday, January 30th, which is tomorrow, national shutdown, no work, no school, no shopping, stop funding ICE. And you can see who I'm going to click on here so you can see who the endorsers, I'm sorry, I kind of did this wrong. This is how you can endorse the event as an organization or an individual. Let me just actually go to find your action in your city. So let's say your state. So I'm going to put you can look at all the states here. Alabama has 2. I'm looking at all the states are listed here. And it looks like there is at least 1 in every state that I'm seeing listed. I think this might be all of them. So I'm going to take a look at Michigan. We have 8. And I think you can see as I pull this up, really easy to use. There's going to be 1 at 8 in the morning in Flint, 2 p.m. in Novi. There's a place called Kansas City, Michigan, I didn't even know about. They're having 1 at a World War I memorial at 3, Grand Rapids at 4, Detroit has 1 at 2, Hazel Park at 2, and Dearborn, Superior Township, and so on. I want to go back though, and I want to show you the state. I want to go to Texas and see if Dilley, Texas has 1. There's 10 in Texas, and the Texas state capital in Waco, Texas. Amazing. Houston, Austin, San Antonio, Tyler, another one in Austin, a second one. Oh no, this is the same one in San Antonio, 1 in Richmond, and another one in Austin. So guys, that's the link. Tomorrow is a big day. And also, let's really go all in. Let's really do a good job finding, or if there isn't one near you, you can sponsor one of these no kings, no thrones, no crowns, no ICE marches. Now, I want to share with you, because I was talking about numbers, how much money we're talking about. And let me kind of give you an update. Today is Thursday, as you know, and apparently the proposal, at least as of last night before I went to sleep, that Chuck Schumer and the Democrats are trying to get John Thune, who is the Senate Majority Leader, he's the Republican, trying to get John Thune to agree to break out the DHS funding piece from this last round of appropriation bills. The reason why Chuck Schumer wants to do that is to say, okay, let's do this and let's keep the government open, because the deadline to fund the government, the continuing resolution, ends January 30th. And if all the other bills are approved by the Senate, the government stays open and is funded until October 1st. And Schumer wants to break out the DHS thing and just do a tight, like, I don't know if a week long or how long, continuing resolution while they negotiate that part. And here's the deal. And I haven't always made this clear. The problem isn't the just funding for this year and the additional funding. The problem is there was already the approval of 5 years of funding. And so let me just show you, I want to show you this as big as I can make it. So this is funding just for 2025, because some of this got approved. So look at this. What you see here is a total amount of funds that were provided by ICE by fiscal year. So 2017 would be October 1st, 2017 until September 30th, 2018, and so on. And you see what these numbers are? We are talking about the billions of dollars. And for the most part, this has been creeping up since the 2017 year. It was below $10 billion, right? And it was kind of rising to the $10 billion range, but that was for 6 years. And then 2025, it was supposed to creep up a little bit. But instead, do you see this extra $75 billion? This is money that was appropriated, apparently. This is money from this policy bill. This is the $75 billion. And what I don't fully understand is why it is. And this money can be used anytime, apparently, between July 4th of 2025 and September 30th of 2029. So they could use it all at once, guys. That's important. So do you see the light yellow is what's been appropriated, and this extra $75 billion is what we absolutely need to say no effing way. It needs to be pulled back, guys. Okay. So this is why people want to walk out for the national shutdown tomorrow. And this is also why we are planning this No King's March. But in the meantime, we will see how things go in the Senate. This is why I would ask you to call your senators. And I want you to say this: free Liam Ramos and his father. Liam Ramos is a 5-year-old. He is sick. He may die in U.S. custody in this prison. His father is in the U.S. lawfully. And if our Senate cannot get that boy and his father free, they shouldn't even be talking to John Thune. I got to tell you, I flipping don't know what's wrong with Chuck Schumer. I wish someone would give me one day to be his spokesperson. And I would get up there and I would say, Leader Schumer, after they break this thing out separately, I would say Leader Schumer, in good faith, has agreed to fund the rest of the government. But given that the lawless behavior in the statements by Tom Homan that nothing is going to change, we are not going to actually talk at all about the DHS budget. And we also want to use our power to never speak about it until you agree to cut that $75 billion back down to 10, like it was supposed to be. The extra $75 billion should go away. And also free Liam Ramos. We cannot talk to hostage takers. We will not negotiate with lawless Republicans who support the kidnapping and incarceration of a 5-year-old and his father when neither of them have broken the law. Until Liam Ramos is out of custody and his father safely in the family home, and you stop going after them and you leave them alone, we won't even fucking talk to you. I can't say fucking. I guess I wouldn't even be a good spokesperson for him because he would never let me fucking speak. Please, Liam Ramos. And I don't want to hear it won't make a difference. If that were your 5-year-old child, if that were my 5-year-old child, and I asked you, guys, we're here together every day. I know today there'll be over 1,000 people, at least 1,500 people who watch this, who will listen to me say this. And what I want to say is, Liam Ramos is my son. He is your child. This is our child. This is not somebody else's child. And he has been kidnapped, and he and his father are in prison for no lawful reason. And he is getting sick, and he is scared, and he's vomiting. Will you make this call for me? I would do it for you. Do this for me. Free Liam Ramos. Here he is. Here is this little boy. Tell me, are you okay? Are you okay with his situation right now? Because I'm not. I am not at all. 202-224-3121. And that is him there. But remember, this is him right now. He is not okay. Okay. So what else is happening here? Because there is a lot. I want to let you know that there's some really wonderful protesters again, and I got some other news too. But there's some protesters. I think his name is Tom Swozy. I might be pronouncing his name wrong. He's one of the members of Congress. I believe he's a Democrat who voted to fund, because it's passed the House before it's got to go into the Senate. And Swozy is from New York. He is a Democrat, and he should be primaried. And I think there's still a little bit of time. I'm not sure how many days for someone to file papers to run against him. Here were protesters at his town hall. They are brave. They are good, and they're clever. And I'm so glad that we can still do this as Americans. Let me play that for you.
People were killed by ICE this month, and you're throwing me out while I'm reading their names? How fucking dare you! Swazi, I know you voted to increase ICE funding, so I wanted to get something for you. This is an adult diaper for when you pee yourself. You're the type of leader we need right now. Someone who soils themselves with ashes around.
I didn't know we were doing gifts up top. I actually also have some gifts. I have some knee pads for you. You can use these while you blow Donald Trump.
I just would like to say really quick, as a Jewish man, I have never felt safer than when there is a masked Gestapo in the street. Tell good you made a mistake. Tell Alex Penny you made a mistake in expanding funding of ICE after Renee Good had already been shot in the streets. Nobody could have predicted that ICE would have been killing innocent people. The only way we can fight anti-Semitism is by aligning ourselves with white supremacists. Alex Peretti, Renee Good, Keith Porter. I'm reading names of people killed by ICE. You're going to touch me? You're going to touch me? Alex Peretti, Renee Good, Keith Porter, Parity Law. These people were killed by ICE this month. Are you going to throw me out?
Do you notice that these are all white men standing in their privilege on behalf of all of us? All of us. And I love the Minnesota term neighbors. We are all neighbors. We are in all of this together. We need to do better. I especially like the Jewish man and his irony. I hope you got that he wasn't being literal, but he was being ironic. Okay. And one more thing. So let me now move on to something that is also happening that is of great concern. Let me say something positive. I missed this in the news. Did you hear the Ghislaine Maxwell news? So she is on her own, I think, filing a petition for habeas corpus to try to be released. And here she is, Ghislaine, there she is. That's not where she is now. She's obviously in a prison. Now it's minimum security, which she should not be because she was convicted as a sexual offender of children. Remember, she didn't just help Epstein. She participated in the sexual abuse. At any rate, Ghislaine Maxwell, you may have heard, just filed these papers in which she claims that there were 29 people who reached secret settlements. Okay. And so I want to share this with you because you know where I want to share this. You know who's doing really flippin' great reporting? It's People Magazine. They're doing amazing reporting. So I think you can see this. Here is the article. Ghislaine Maxwell claims 29 people who reached secret Epstein settlements were not indicted. Okay, so this was in this petition she filed that just got released. Here we go. Ghislaine Maxwell claimed in a habeas petition that four co-conspirators and 25 men reached secret settlements related to the Jeffrey Epstein case, but were never indicted. And apparently, so this is a petition that was filed. Courthouse News obtained it. I'm now showing you. I'm showing you this full petition. So this was filed December 17th, but it just came out in public yesterday. This is filed in the Southern District of New York, and she's asking to be released pursuant to a statute 28 USC 2255. And she's claiming she doesn't deserve to be there. And here is the papers that that she had filed. And, you know, this is something I think she herself did from prison. And, you know, she is basically saying that her conviction should be vacated, set aside, or her sentence corrected because of new information. And, you know, this is not a lengthy statement. It's just eight pages long. And she's complaining in part about the jurors, and she's got other complaints about why she believes she should be released. So again, I'm scrolling through this, and a lot of this is about the jurors. She has other points too about testimony at the grand jury. So she's also added that, and how that also prejudiced the jury. And in addition to that, she has, again, now we get to the part, complaints that there were these other people. I mean, it goes kind of on and on, but I want to get to the part where she complains that she is being essentially selectively prosecuted. And I'm still scrolling. She's talking about witnesses being coerced. This is pretty complicated, and it's not just the one headline. It's also all these different facts. Okay, so I think we're going to get into this other point here where I'm scrolling down through this to talk about how there were these other 29 people, right, who entered into settlements, and how absolutely unfair that seems, right? And I told you it was just 8 pages long, but actually it is 50 pages long. So I'm going to stop sharing right now, and you can, if you choose, look at that yourself. I'm going to drop this into the chat for all of you right now, so you can scroll through it. It's very lengthy, and I think that you can link on that. I may have given it to you properly. At any rate, so this is big news, and Ghislaine apparently is going to testify, I think, behind doors to a congressional committee. I do hope that she names names. I don't think she should be out of prison, but I think we need to know what is in the Epstein files. It's over a month since Pam Bondi has failed to release that, and we should be having that at the top of our conversation. This administration locks up children in prison when they have done nothing wrong, and neither has their father. This administration covers up sexual assault crimes against children. Children are not safe in Donald Trump's America, in the Republican Party's America, period. Now, okay, some of my other news. Yesterday, if you didn't see enough of the trouble Donald Trump is trying to make and attacks he is trying to make on cities like Minneapolis because he is unhappy about the resistance, they just sent the FBI in to raid the Fulton County, I think it was, elections office, in search of information that Donald Trump wants to use to continue to fabricate the claim that he did not lose Georgia, right? This is a state where he was calling them to tell them, find 11,700 votes. Well, he's going to try to fabricate them. So I want to share with you Senator John Ossoff, his interview discussing why this is so dangerous.
So a judge signed a warrant for this search, which according to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, included all physical ballots from the 2020 general election in Fulton County, all tabulator tapes from every voting machine, all ballot images during the original count, and all of the voter rolls. That's what we know according to reporting at this point. Why do you think, we all have our theories, but why do you think DOJ is doing this right now? Trump's DOJ is doing this right now?
Jen, thank you for having me. And this is a seismic event. This should have people across the country absolutely shook. This is a huge deal. This is an FBI raid on the Fulton County Elections Office. His conspiracy theories about the 2020 election have been based in Georgia from the very start. Georgia is where he called the Secretary of State and said, find me the votes that he needed to win in a state he had lost. So much of the big lie that led to the January 6th sacking of the United States Capitol, that had a mob seeking the Speaker of the House and the Vice President to lynch them, originated in his lies about the state of Georgia. And here he has the FBI, which there are so many hardworking, diligent public servants in FBI field offices all across the country, but its headquarters now in the thrall of these political appointees, Kash Patel and Bongino and this guy from Missouri in the deputy role, who are partisan political actors, raiding this election office in Georgia, seizing all of this information, all of these records, taking it who knows where, chain of custody now broken. And here's the thing. This is a shot across the bow at the midterm elections. He tried to steal power when he lost it in 2020. We have to be prepared for all kinds of schemes and shenanigans. We have to be prepared for him to try to deprive people of their voting rights. In Georgia, where we have the most competitive United States Senate race in the country, and I'm asking people to help me defend this election and voting rights in Georgia, to log on to electjon.com, electjon.com, and contribute to help us fight the good fight and make sure that the people can speak.
Oof. So, yeah, this is not great. And apparently spotted when the FBI was there taking out boxes was Tulsi Gabbard. She's a director of national intelligence. So are they trying to go back to arguing that China, or remember that crazy lady who said that Hugo Chavez had somehow, who was no longer living, had somehow interfered in the 2020 election? I mean, I'm trying to remember that lady. She was, of course, pardoned. And I just, maybe someone in the chat can remind me. She was the one who downed her Dr. Pepper and was always wearing, like animal print shirts. Sidney Powell, Melissa Rattel for the win. Love you, Melissa. Fantastic. So Sidney Powell, well, I think they're trying to do something involving that. Okay. So we've got a third type of news, third category of news before I get to Crazy Town. And that third category of news, actually four, was, you may have heard that 2 days ago, Ilhan Omar, who is a member of Congress from Minnesota, is, and specifically, I think in the Minneapolis area, was holding a town hall. And apparently she holds them monthly. And some guy just walked up to her and tried to spray her with some liquid. And she drew back like she was going to punch him. And her security guard pulled the guy away. She was being interviewed by Chris Hayes. And I don't think I've watched a full interview with her, and I want you to see how thoughtful she is and how brave she is, because she has had so many death threats. And Donald Trump, even after this happened, claimed that she orchestrated this. It's always projection with him. Let's play that interview.
Have you acclimated to this to a degree, or is there some part of you that still feels freaked out when something like that happens?
You know what? I understand this all to be is an intimidation tactic, whether it is the president's deranged rants attacking me, my family, and my community, or whether it is, this deranged person showing up trying to assault me, is that they want to intimidate me from public life. And I am not one to be intimidated. And, I could hear people saying there were liquids and all of this, but I wasn't feeling an impact, and nobody around me seemed to be feeling an impact. So my first instinct was to say, let's not give him what he wanted, which was for us to run, for me to be cleared out of the room, for our town hall and my ability to perform the duties in which I was elected by my constituents to do. And so regardless of what that was, if it wasn't hindering me at that moment, it was my duty to continue to do my job. And I know that the president is trying to gaslight us, but that's not surprising, because this is a government that came out and said Alex was brandishing a gun, when we know that's not what happened in all the videos that we have seen. So they're basically trying to tell us not to believe our own eyes.
Yeah. It was an incredible interview. And she went on to say, she was kind of laughing because she's kind of now a meme because she pulled back to punch this guy. And she said, look, she grew up in a family with 3 brothers. And so she learned to fight. I think she's pretty courageous. I know for sure someone sprayed something on me that smelled bad. And then there was this big syringe, like an oral syringe, and the thing was on the floor. I pretty much would have canceled what I was doing to make sure it was not some kind of toxic thing or some kind of thing that would make me sick. On the other hand, she's more brave than me, I guess, is what I would say. Okay, so the third topic is yesterday, Secretary of State Marco Rubio was at a Senate committee hearing, and he was being asked about a number of things, including what the hell is going on with Venezuela. And so I want to share with you, I think, various people here. I'm going to start with Rand Paul, Republican senator, and let's hear what he has to say.
So I would ask you, if a foreign country bombed our air defense missiles, captured and removed our president, and blockaded our country, would that be considered an act of war?
Well, I think your question is about and I will acknowledge you've been very consistent on all these points the entire career. So let me no matter who's in charge. So I will point to 2 things. The first is, it's hard for us to conceive that an operation that lasted about 4.5 hours and was a law enforcement operation to capture someone we don't recognize as the head of state, indicted in the United States, wanted with a $50 million bounty.
My question would be, if it only took 4 hours to take our president, it's very short, nobody dies on the other side, nobody dies on our side, it's perfect. Would it be an act of war?
We just don't believe that this operation comes anywhere close to the constitutional definition of war.
But would it be an act of war if someone did it to us? Nobody dies, few casualties, they're in and out. Boom, it's a perfect military operation. Would that be an act of war? Of course it would be an act of war. I'm probably the most anti-war person in the Senate, and I would vote to declare war if someone invaded our country and took our president. So I think we need to at least acknowledge this is a one-way argument.
Okay, 2 things. Of course, Rand Paul is right. It was an act of war against Venezuela. But let me quibble with him. If another country came in, just took a few hours and took our president, I would not vote for a declaration of war against that country, I would actually send them a fruit basket and a thank you note. Clip that one. Okay. I mean, seriously, if you don't hurt anyone and you just take Donald Trump, hello, Putin, are you listening? Just take him. I'll be happy. Again, whether it's a fruit basket, I might even do like a nice platter. I once, my father, a patient or another doctor, sent him a really nice thing, and it was like smoked salmon, and it was in this like wooden container, and the top slid off of it. It was pretty cool, and I kept the wooden container long after the smoked salmon was gone to keep things in, because it was kind of a cool place to hide letters and notes and things. But anyway, yeah, thank you very much. Okay, so there's more though to the Senate hearing. I want you to hear what Senator Tammy. I'm going to call her. I'm about to call her Senator Tammy Baldwin, but I'm not going to call her that. I'm having a name, Tammy Duckworth. Let's go with it. Okay, here we go.
Secretary, last March, the president invoked the Alien Enemies Act, a notorious wartime law last used for Japanese internment. He said that he was responding to the Maduro regime's supposed invasion or other acts of war against the United States. But in recent weeks, you, the Department of Justice, and our friends across the aisle have repeatedly said that we are not at war with Venezuela. Secretary Rubio, if that is true and we are not at war with Venezuela, will you advise the president to rescind his invocation of the Wartime Alien Enemies Act?
Well, that was a mechanism to remove people from our country that prevent grave danger. So, for example...
Okay, I just need to back up. So, on the one hand, we just heard Rubio say to Rand Paul that when Venezuela attacked us, it wasn't an act of war. Now we have Duckworth talking about the action well before that. There was a period of time when, and there is a period, Donald Trump is invoking the Alien Enemies Act to deport people. This was when they were sending people to prisons, or they're still doing this. They're still taking people out of the country who they say are members of Venezuelan street gangs and sending them to prisons across the world. Remember, Bukele in El Salvador was housing under a contract people we sent that we round up off the streets, many of whom just on the basis of having tattoos that someone has decided means that they're part of a gang. I mean, it was disgusting, but it was the Alien Enemies Act they were relying on. And so let me go back to the beginning so you can follow what he's trying to thread this needle. Okay, let's go. Go ahead.
Mr. Secretary, last March, the president invoked the Alien Enemies Act, a notorious wartime law last used for Japanese internment. He said that he was responding to the Maduro regime's supposed invasion or other acts of war against the United States. But in recent weeks, you, the Department of Justice, and our friends across the aisle have repeatedly said that we are not at war with Venezuela. Secretary Rubio, if that is true and we are not at war with Venezuela, will you advise the president to rescind his invocation of the Wartime Alien Enemies Act?
Well, that was a mechanism to remove people from our country that prevent grave danger. So, for example, we know for a fact that Agua was a very dangerous gang. In fact, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I may have been the first member of Congress.
This is a wartime act, Mr. Secretary.
Well,
are we currently at war with Venezuela?
No, we're not in a state of war in Venezuela.
Okay, the Supreme Court has described the Alien Enemies Act as a wartime power, our Supreme Court. And before now, the Alien Enemies Act was only invoked during the War of 1812, World War I, World War II, when it was used to intern thousands of innocent civilians. Are you really arguing that the president should be able to wield an internment law?
No, but we're talking about two separate things here. So you're talking about the state of Venezuela, or are describing the regime. And we're talking about, but what the president designated.
Invoked the Alien Enemies Act.
I know, Senator, but let me be clear with you. No, but what the president was talking about are these gangs and these narco-trafficking groups that are waging war on the United States. There's no doubt. These groups have waged war on the United States. They have waged, for example, Agua is not just a criminal gang presence in our...
Okay. Yeah, we know how he's trying to thread that needle. And I'm not going to, once again, pull up the Alien Enemies Act for you, because I'm not going to try to make his ridiculous arguments to try to pigeonhole what they are doing into a statute for which it does not apply. I'm just trying to point out his hypocrisy. And now, when my last clip from Rubio is all about the money that Donald Trump got for selling the Venezuelan oil and why it's still in a bank account in Qatar. Let's play this.
So it's been reported that the oil sold for $500 million, that $300 million went to Venezuelan government. What happened to the other $200 million?
It's still sitting in the account, is my understanding at this time.
The account in Qatar?
Well, the account, yes, but that will ultimately be that's a short-term account. Ultimately, it will be a U.S. Treasury blocked account in the United States.
And will it also be audited?
Correct. Well, the audit will be on the expenditures. At the front end, we'll tell them this is what the money can be spent on. Again, I'm not talking about all the other revenues the Venezuelan government may have. We're talking about the revenues from the sanctioned oil. At the front end, we will say this is what the allowable expenses are. And then they will agree to fund, as part of the overall cost, they will pay for and fund an audit system acceptable to us to ensure that that's how the money was spent.
And can you report?
Okay, the expenditures will be audited. How about how much is in there now? I mean, these people are unbelievable. Not only that, it's Congress who has the authority under the Constitution to appropriate funds. He is acting like a king. Can I remind you? No thrones, no crowns, no ice, no kings. Okay, friends, I think after this show, I think we do deserve some crazy town. And so allow me to share that with you, to lighten up where we are, because laughter can be the best medicine, even in these times, especially in these times. Okay, you may have heard that Melania Trump has some kind of movie out, and like either the director or the cinematographer that she chose actually happens to be someone mentioned or in the Epstein files, or I should say has been seen in photos with that guy, Jean-Luc Bernard, who ended up killing himself in prison, who was involved in the trafficking of girls. And this guy, this film director for Melania, I mean, it's kind of crazy. His name is Brett Ratner. And Brett Ratner, again, he was involved with Epstein. And so it's pretty crazy that she chose him when he's been also accused of other forms of sexual assault. It's just, again, it's par for the course, I guess. She's not great at vetting. Also, as you know, you may have heard, people are really not going to the theaters to see this. And we know, I think it was huge amounts of money spent. I think it was Tim Cook of Apple who somehow helped fund this Melania film. And in fact, he went to the White House for this screening of the film. And okay, so it's crazy. It's crazy how much money. I want to see how much money they spent on this film. That's not actually. It's not actually. It's bearing fruit. I'm getting confused whether it was who actually funded this Melania film. Okay, so we had, it's a bunch of different places. It was Amazon, Disney, Netflix, and Paramount bid for the streaming rights, but Amazon, so it's Jeff Bezos. So Tim Cook goes to the screening. Jeff Bezos spent $40 million to license this movie. And Bezos was also a big owner of the Washington Post. Now the Washington Post is laying off reporters. They could fund a gazillion, I don't have the exact number, of reporters for a full year for $40 million. This is an utter flop. But I do want to share with you an interview on Fox News with the First Lady, Melania. And I want to say one thing that's not in this interview, but apparently in the film, she talks about all this stuff she did to help the East Wing. I mean, do you not see the irony? Wasn't it knocked down by her husband? These people are tacky and stupid. But here is something else she said. And she's been asked a question about what her husband wants for America. And when you hear this, you are going to think that this is AI and that I made this up. But no, this is Melania.
He would like to have a country that all of the people can walk down the street and not to be harassed or murdered or women raped. I think it's very important. And what happened a few years ago, so many criminals came over the border. And he closed the border now a while back already. And we need to take care of our citizens.
We need to take care of our citizens. She thinks Donald Trump wants a kind of America where people aren't harassed, murdered, or raped. Lady, get a clue. I think E. Jean Carroll would like a word with you. I think Preddy and Good's families would have something to say for you. And Donald Trump is a verbal and sexual harasser. I don't know what planet she is on, but I think she is living in Crazy Town. And now I do have one more thing to share with you for Crazy Town. This is a wonderful, like a TikTok video or some short video that someone made. I think you'll appreciate it because it illustrates in really simple concept for why the hell why people keep giving Donald Trump another chance. Okay, let's play it.
Just announced that I'm running for president and immediately villainized Mexican immigrants. Can I have another straw?
Okay, man, but this is the last one, and good luck becoming the nominee.
This video shows me bragging about sexually assaulting women. Straw?
This is the last straw, but I doubt you win the election anyway.
A bunch of white supremacists held a rally in Charlottesville, and I said that there are very fine people on both sides. Straw?
Seriously? This is the last straw.
I've just been impeached.
Okay, well, no more straws after this.
I just lost the 2020 election, and I'm claiming without any evidence that it was stolen.
Last straw.
I incited an insurrection, and people tried to kill Congress and my vice president.
Last one. Good luck not going to jail.
Look at all these classified documents I was keeping in the bathroom at Mar-a-Lago. I've been convicted on 34 counts. I'm a felon. I've changed my mind. There's actually nothing in the Epstein files, especially me. ICE just shot a woman who was on her way home from dropping a kid off at school. She didn't pose any threat. Border Patrol just shot this guy 10 times, and we immediately blamed the victim.
Okay, fine. We will slightly walk back what we said about Alex Preddy.
Okay. Kind of brilliant. Everything he did, people just gave him another straw and another straw and another straw. Folks, it's the end. Donald Trump needs to go. It would be my dream that by July 4th, 2026, on our 250th anniversary from independence, he is forced to resign, or he is impeached, or maybe someone from another country comes in, removes him, lets him live somewhere else with all the luxury he may want, and we send him that fruit basket and a thank you note. Bye-bye. Thanks, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.
Hello, prison mates. It's the Gen Taub Show, where how come everyone? Let's learn about what is happening in politics yesterday and today. There is hope, and we are together in this democracy we work for. And again, welcome to the Gen Taub Show.